So it's so easy to be black pilled right now. I admit that I've been black pilled, and I can't for certain say that I won't be black pilled by the end of the day, by the end of this video. Um, it comes and goes. One of the, it's we're in this environment. We go on the internet, we see all this bullshit. You come on my videos, you see all this bullshit that I'm talking. I think I know something about life, but I really don't know shit. Um, you know, this is why I try to be a pragmatic person with my opinions and my thoughts. It's like, because at the end of the day, I realize I don't know shit. Um, and I, I find myself pushing back against this hustle culture, this you gotta be the successful person. Successful to who, to what? What is the payoff? You know, I've seen influencers who are wildly more popular than me doing similar things as me on the internet. You know, uh for example, seeing Pearl Davis, who is popular, tweeting at Elon Musk to basically get nothing in response. And, that opens my eyes seeing that even if you're even if you're successful or not, these people are still looking up all these popular people to other popular people, and they're really not any different than me, but they have higher reach, they have higher status. But what does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, they're still in the same position as me. That's the people who have less followers than me on Twitter or whatever, or possibly on here. It's in the same position. We're looking up, but what does it fucking matter? And who are these people we're looking up to anyway? Why are they so great? Why do we think that our perception of them is so great? Because we think, like, we say something, they rebut us, and it looks like their judgment is more important than ours because they're more popular. It's ridiculous. Right now, this whole culture, keep working hard, keep grinding as hard as you can. Basically, if you're a man, you need to be, highly stoic, and it's like you have to work continuously from by the time your eyes open in the morning till when you go to sleep at night. The whole time you need to be doing something. You have to, like, try to be achieving something, working towards something. And it's like, why do we always feel like we have to be working towards something? Why can't we feel like I need a rest? I need a break. What am I avoiding? And at the end of the day, these people and who can't relax, who can't enjoy themselves, who always have to be grinding and working and go to the gym all the time, and which, like I said before, I think health is a good thing. And me right now, I'm very disgusted in my body, how it feels. I don't really care too much about how it looks anymore. It's just more about how it feels. So I am making steps while being gentle on myself as well, and understanding that, I'm working back-breaking labor. My back is sore. I'm trying to get, my lower back, and, I am restricted to not only with motivation, but I'm also restricted physically to what I can do, because I still have to go to work and make money to pay the bills for all these rich people who want to keep on jacking up the prices, and the government who wants to keep on devaluing our dollar, lowering our buying power. Yeah, I'm inundated with all this stuff on my news feed. We work harder, do this. And it's like, what's wrong with this being a regular person? What's wrong with this being an average person, having an average life? And that's what I was trying to get at with the Good Will Hunting thing the other day, where this is just a story, a made up story, but the guy in the story was basically a Einstein genius level person, and he respected more of he can just like solve all these problems with ease. It's just a movie, but all these top thinkers that no one knows who they are, their highest IQ, physicists, mathematicians, philosophers, whatever, English majors, all these people who are highly intelligent. No one knows who they are. They get these, these Nobel Peace Prizes. Like who, these people who get something like that. Unless you're a popular person, we don't know who the hell you are. Like, you pretty much have to be somebody famous before, like Barack Obama, to get something like that. For us to like, oh, okay, that's. But for the most part, do we know who gets the Nobel Peace Prize on a yearly basis? No. And these people are some of the most highly intelligent people on the planet, possibly ever to exist. But in this movie, I get it, it's fake, but this guy who was highly intelligent and had a lot of potential, this kid, he respected, the regular way of living, the regular person, more than these people who were highly sophisticated. And it was kind of like a rebellion almost against these people, where it's like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that too, but and probably better than you, but look at me, I'm just living a normal life, enjoying being a normal person. Isn't that like the biggest fuck you? To have some type of talent like that and not show it to the world, to not care if the world sees it, because what does it matter, really? It's like I sit here and punch up at these people who, on Twitter, I don't really get much responses. Occasionally, and it's weird because, like, I don't get much responses from a lot of people, but occasionally I'll get, like, a famous person to respond to me. Even though I don't have the check mark anymore, which really helps if you're on that type of platform. People just look at the check mark and look at you like you're a real person. But when they respond, I kind of soften my edge a little bit. And I need to stop that. Because they're famous or whatever, seeking that validation, where like, oh, maybe it's example, Andrew Wilson basically tweeted that his wife was on the Joe Rogan, and I said, who gives a damn what women say or whatever? And then he tweeted back at me, oh, Joe Rogan did. So I basically placated to him and said, oh, I only care about what men think like you. When I should have been more double down, even though they don't respond. You know what I mean? They usually don't respond to... They'll tweet that one, and because they're too busy with everybody else. But what should I care? Why should I care? Like, who are we doing all this grinding for? I'm seeing Richard Cooper, this manosphere grandfather, and he's like blah blah blah, tweets about bad stuff about women all the time, but he's still at the same time like become the best version of yourself. And I'm thinking like, why, what exactly am I becoming the best version of myself for, and who? Well, let's say hypothetically I do, I grind my ass off and I get the perfect looking body, my bank account looks pretty solid, I have some status, and then what do I attract? Is this woman gonna really be by my side if I lose that? If I lose my status, if I lose my bank account, if I gain a couple pounds, is she gonna stick beside me? I see these influencers like Larry Wills, who's blowing up right now. I know I've heard of him before, but he's really popping off right now, and his wife is basically admitting that if if he stops funding her life, then she's gone, right to his face. Is that what I'm supposed to like become the best version of myself? And this guy has got the status, he's got the looks, huge guy, he's got the money, but he's still lower status than his actual wife. And he's always in this defensive mode, like I don't want to lose her. And I've been there. I was there with my ex-fiance, like a it's crazy. Like I spent so much money in like 2011 or 12, $5,000 on an engagement ring for this woman, and she had some personal issues I can't really talk about, but I helped her move past this stuff, and I thought to myself, if I do this, maybe she won't go. And well, yeah, she appreciated it for for a little while, and then I'm sure she sold it after we broke up for sure. Why would she keep that? She's gonna. But I always knew in the back of my head I was gonna lose her anyway, and I think that Larry Wheels knows in the back of his head he's gonna eventually lose this woman, even if he keeps up the charade he's doing. Eventually, she's gonna be gone. And is that what I'm supposed to work hard for as somebody who isn't going to be there for me if I hit low points at life? Who's just going to be there for along for the ride when the good things are happening? Because in life, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but there's ups and downs with lives. Good stuff happens. You have good fortune. It doesn't feel like that right now for a lot of us, but you got good fortune. Maybe you're like a Larry Wheels, like good things are going for you, things are starting to roll, you feel like you're thriving, and then something happens. You meet like a Michael Jordan, when he won 3 championships in a row and he lost his father, who was a huge influence on his life. And then he quit basketball and went and played baseball, which he had all the eyes because of like what he was trying to do, but he never got to the majors, or if he did, he didn't last that long past spring training. He wasn't excellent like he was in basketball, and he ended up going back to basketball. So, there's different stages of my life where maybe I do become like all of a sudden all this stuff, like I start getting all this good fortune, right? All these women who don't give me a time of day, who on Twitter always put no DMs, blah blah blah. All of a sudden, all my stuff starts popping off. I start getting I start thriving. I start getting a ton of money that comes in my bank account. I don't have to worry about debt anymore. I don't have to worry about this grind. I don't have to worry about working these back-breaking jobs for no pay, just so I don't have to be homeless. But what happens when like that good fortune stalls? or it doesn't keep happening, or it just kind of levels off a little bit, like I get 10,000 followers on here, or it blows up. My YouTube channel blows up and I get like 500,000 followers or subs on here. And then like my music starts getting all kinds of, what I mean? Like everything just starts clicking. But what happens if like I start getting sued, and then I start losing money? I'm looking at people like, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Floyd Money Mayweather. He's got an undefeated streak. He's 47. He should just be basically coaching at this point, and he unretired. And I guess he has a fight with Manny Pacquiao. Also another one that's happening, which is kind of weird. And it makes me think like the people in the actual sports, nobody really cares about them. So like this is part of the reason why they're coming back. I don't really know anybody in the UFC at this point. You have Ronda Rousey and Gina Carapolo, or whatever her name is. Two big names gonna fight, and it's like, is either the money running out? It's not really. I don't think it's an itch. I think the money could be running out for them. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I know that Ronda Rousey doesn't have the hype that she used to have. She did. She had a hype. She had a lot of hype, almost like a Conor McGregor type of hype back in the day. Like Floyd, he had that cachet, but it has fallen off. You don't really hear about Floyd too much in the spotlight nowadays, and that's why I say, looking back at my life, looking at some of these really famous people, whether they were actors, like Alicia Silverstone, or some of these basketball players and football players whose name was all in the lights, and they've been forgotten about. Seeing that like a Cy Young base winner has the same amount of, now he might have like a ton of followers on Instagram or something, but and he could have just started his Twitter and he could be blowing up now. I don't know, but I forgot his name, but he had the same amount of followers as me on Twitter. His name was in the lights, like I was saying, and then now people pretty much forgot about him. There's another video where these guys are this father and son, and it's like one of these, like they just made like a Costco video or something that's going viral right now. I haven't heard about these. They sound like they're Italian or something. How do you know you're a Costco person? And then they go back and forth of whatever. I've seen them on different, like their viral videos on different platforms. I never really followed those people, but like people were saying like they made a new video and they don't have it in their eyes anymore or something. They don't have the hunger, basically. But it's like, I don't want just a woman or people around me in general that are just going to be around me because I'm really doing well right now. Like, hypothetically, if my family, who hasn't supported any of my creativity really, read my books, listened to any of the music I created, which I get, my music I created is not very good. I think some of the lyrics are pretty good though. But like the actual music of me singing, I get it, it's horrible. Supported me on this type of stuff. If this stuff was to really blow up and then all of a sudden they're starting to like wanting to listen to all my stuff or like get into all my content and, you know, jump on the bandwagon. I don't know if I would want them around. I would look at them skeptical because it's like, where were you this whole time? Or, you know, it was just me. You know, it was just me, basically. Nobody supported me, basically, and I had to keep getting off the ground and do everything myself. No help, no support, no, hey, you know, hey, this is pretty cool. Can I help you out? I like this. No, 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 no. That's cool. That's cool. And I don't know how I would react. I don't want fake people around me. I don't want a woman that's just going to be around because of stuff I do for her. And if stuff starts going south, she's out of here. I don't want somebody flaky like that. I'd rather just be by myself. And at this point, it's like I've been alone for so long, I don't even know if I even want a woman around me. That part of the reason why I wanted to have like a woman is so because she could be like a best friend or whatever. But it's like at this point, I don't even know if I want one, because I do like my alone time. You know what I mean? I do want to be by myself too. I don't want to just be around her all the time. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to be. I'm just saying like be around her at all. But I'm just saying I like to have my alone time where I can just. I'm not gonna bring a woman into my life who's like, you can't play video games. Like, I'm gonna play video games if I want. Okay, yeah, I'm 45. So what? So what? I play video games. So what? I pay all my own bills. I work my ass off. Like, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do? And that's why I say I don't know. I would like I said, compromise if the right woman came along. I definitely would compromise. But the way things are now, where you have to go here, you always have to be doing something. Like, you always have to give them more. I'm not going to keep doing that. You know, sometimes I don't feel like. In order for me to be creative, I need to be by myself. I can't have distractions. That's not how I create. I don't create what's in think tanks. I need time to do what I'm doing, to think for myself, think about stuff, come up with an idea on my own. I can't just like how these corporate, you know, think tanks are. Oh, let's just start throwing ideas out there, and it's, I don't work that way. It's like, I'm listening to the problem. I need to go think about it by myself. How can I attack it from different angles? What would happen if I do it this way or that way? Or we just like, how can I make things better? And maybe the solution I come up with isn't the solution anyway, but it could rhyme with the ultimate solution. Because I don't see all the different, you know, details, and, you know, somebody comes, blah, blah, and they make it better, and it becomes better. But I need to be able to come up with the system or idea on my own. Why do I keep making these videos? There's something that just drives me to make these videos. But what's wrong with the simple life either too? What's wrong with being an average person? Why do we always have to excel and be perfect in everything? Like, why? Who are we doing it for? Why do we feel like we have to like level up so quickly? Why can't we just like level up at our own pace? Who are we doing this for? You know, we should just be doing it for ourselves because we want to level up for ourselves. That's like some of the greatest advice that has been always been told is like, you have to do something because you want to do it for yourself. And that's what these red pill guys usually, they say, you know, when they're like, women are the accessory, you know. But you still need some type of motivation. You need to have some type of drive. But like I said, I don't know everything, and sometimes I'm stupid. Sometimes I'm clever. Sometimes I say really dumb things that doesn't make any sense. People pick me apart all the time, but sometimes I do come up with really clever things. It's hit or miss, because I'm a human. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. Sometimes I want to absorb and learn new things, and other times I'm just tired and I don't want to, and I just want to relax. I don't always want to sit here and just learn, or create. Sometimes I want to be a bum. Sometimes I just want to sit back and just enjoy watching a movie, playing a game, smoking some herb, and not always having to be productive all the time. Sometimes it is good to take a couple steps back, reevaluate where you're going, what you're doing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, you're the one that has to live your life. For me, this has happened a lot where I can't enjoy the present. I can't. And I still am to this point. I just can't enjoy the present. What makes me enjoy the present? Right now, right this second, getting high. It makes me feel more. It makes me more sensitive. It makes me more normal. That's my outlet. Should I do it all the time like I was doing it? You know, a few months back where I was getting high at work. Well, it helped me get through the night. It really did. But on my time off, should I have been smoking every hour to make sure I was high as I possibly could be? No. There needs to be some balance. But you know, we're always trying to escape the void. Whatever the silence, the nothing is going on, the some people can't understand how I can just I used to drive that drive to work 45 miles to work in silence. So, you know, sometimes I would put on a video and I would listen to it. Sometimes I would just think. But I was, you know, driving, but I was thinking. There's this, I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking, but I think that you have to do stuff too. Like I said, there needs to be a balance. One of the coolest things that has happened for a while is one of my kids told me he's so appreciative that I'm in his life because of the wisdom I share to him. Something that I really didn't get growing up. That's that's what I wanted to change. I wanted to break that cycle in my own personal life. Was no, I didn't at one point I was like, I'm never gonna have kids. I didn't want kids. And then it got to the point where just like it just kind of happened. Like I'm gonna take responsibility, and I always pulled through. I always made sure that they had what they needed. I had what I needed. I worked hard. I pulled through. I did the work. And now I look at my life and I'm just like, I'm old. I don't feel like I'm going through a midlife crisis at all. I feel like I've accomplished a lot of things that I want to accomplish, even though I'm not wildly successful. I still accomplish a lot of things I want to accomplish. Even if they take all my music down, when I pass away, because I don't continue to fund it for it being up there. Even if they delete all these videos because they wanted to create more storage, and they look at me as like, hey, you only have this many followers, you don't need all this. Like they already have some of my videos. Even if they do the same thing, I've lost my MySpace, and I lost a lot of photos that I hold near and dear. But what are these photos really going to do in the future? Because photos for people like us, average people, will eventually just be forgotten about. You think about your ancestors. You see a couple cool photos back from and I've always felt like I don't know who these people are. And that's what, if, family comes upon some type of photos we have, like, I don't know who these people are. They're strangers. Oh, they're this great uncle. Okay. Maybe I become a grandparent, and my kids have kids one day. Who knows? And they're like, oh, this is grandpa. But it's kind of like, unless they get to be older, they don't, really, nobody, it's just like anything else. Nobody cares, it's just all about now. Maybe one day when, people get old, be older, they'll be like, oh, okay, like, they take an interest in their family's lineage or whatever. I know these videos would probably do a lot better if I made them 10 minutes, but I don't care. I don't care that there's silence. I don't care if I say like a lot. I don't care if I say a lot. That's why I don't care about editing them. I feel like this is more authentic. This is more real. I don't like to limit myself. I'm not gonna go and be a slave to a niche. I don't care about that. I would feel like it's my job if I limit myself to a niche. I don't want this to feel like it's a job. I like how I don't get any type of clout from this. I don't get any type of money. This is just genuine creativity, what I think. I kind of like that I'm not famous. I kind of like it. I don't have that pressure of to, hypothetically, if somebody was to come and like all of a sudden, like this video was to pop off and everyone liked my content because of this video, that I feel the pressure that I need to keep making videos just like this. That I can just make a video about whatever I want to make about. Whether you like it or not. Whether the crowd likes it or not. But yeah, I just think that there's just too much being overblown about always trying to be better. You know, and being human means sometimes you go backwards. Sometimes you don't do things like you think you're going to do them. Oh, I'm going to do this in a couple days. You don't get everything off your list you're supposed to do that you wanted to do. Your to-do list. It's like, that's okay unless it's something that needs to be done. That's okay. I think that it was just it's too much. You have to do everything now. Everything needs to be done now. Where's the growth? Where's the perspective in things? Now, I'm not too happy with the way things are with women. I don't feel like a lot of them have a lot of humbleness, and I think that that's very attractive. When women are humble, they're more appreciative, and I don't really care about their superficial bullshit. I don't care about them having a ton of makeup and all this and them looking. I want to be attracted. I want, a woman that I'm like, okay, she makes everything look better in my environment. Not she needs to be a 10, 9, 8, anything like that, 7. I don't care about that. Does she have to have like the greatest body? No. Does she have to be like the skinniest woman? No. The biggest booty, the nicest booty? No. The prettiest face? No. But is she gonna have my back? Maybe she has some stretch marks from when she had kids. That's fine. I don't care. She doesn't have to be flawless. Is she nice? Is she friendly? Is she open? Does she always keep her guard up? No, she doesn't always keep her guard up with me. Is she vulnerable with me? I would rather much have an average looking woman, which average looking women are basically looked at as 9s and 10s nowadays. But, traditionally, I'm saying an average looking woman who's in decent shape, who is going to be a great cheerleader for me, who's going to have my back, who's going to care about me, who's going to care about my well-being, who's going to care about my health. Not just, for future security for herself, because she authentically does give a shit. I'm actually repulsed by women who have caked on makeup on their face, who get their hair done in different colors all the time, or have these long nails. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I like the more, the supervisor, one of the things I liked about her was she didn't wear a ton of makeup. She just looked naturally beautiful. She had the fake eyelashes, but she really didn't have too much makeup on. She didn't get her hair done all the time, different colors and everything. She would seem pretty natural. Even if my woman had gray hair, I wouldn't care. As long as it's nice and long. It's more about being real instead of trying to put on some type of act for everybody else. Recently, in a different type of situation where this guy has been through a lot of shit, and he's told me about it. And he seems to have a better attitude than me in life, and he's about 10 years older. And it's like, why do I don't like to be compared to other people about what I've been through, what I'm going through. I hate the fact when people are like, you could be this, it could be so much worse for you. Yeah, I know. I know. And it could be better too. It's like, yes, I know. You think I'm stupid. I know things can be better. I mean, worse. I am grateful for what I have in my life. I am. Sometimes I'm not, though. I mean, if we were all grateful for everything we had in our life, then why would we keep trying to always do something, trying to keep working? Like, if we were really just grateful, wouldn't we just be maintaining what we have? We wouldn't always try to like go for more and more and more and more. If you're really grateful, you would just be fine with just what you have, right? And the truth is, I think that a lot of people are grateful for what they have, and then at sometimes they're not grateful. Maybe they're not grateful for a lot of the times, and sometimes they are grateful. It comes and goes. And that's life. Different situations happen. Different people coming in and out of your life. I do like to have that I don't care attitude. And that's something that I'm trying to program myself. Oh, don't talk about what you're... Yeah. I shouldn't talk about what I'm doing, but it is what it is. I'm trying to program myself where I don't care. That's where I want to be. And it is interesting, too. I've heard of people... They say they get all this money and then they don't relate to people, family members, friends, because they don't have the money too. And I think that comes with knowledge. And I think that's like my biggest problem is all of the knowledge that I've gained this past 10 years especially, and having to be around regular people, I just don't relate. I relate in like standard of living, the struggle of living life, but I wish I can just be more content and just having small talk, talking about things that don't really matter. Because at the end of the day, what does matter? Nothing matters. It's gonna happen. If bad things are gonna happen, it's gonna happen. There's only so much that we can control in our own lives. If good things are gonna happen, good things are gonna happen. But at the end of the day, you can't control everything. You can't live other people's lives for them. You can't control how they're going to live their lives or how they're going to take things. You could just try to be the best person you possibly can be, and try to be compassionate. Try to be empathetic as much as you can be, especially these days. It's really hard. But in your own personal life, I think around people that are around you, you try to be as decent as possible. But here's the thing too, here's the caveat, is I don't want to be fake. If I don't feel like putting on an act for everybody, I don't want to put on an act. And that's where I was trying to get at with that. I want to be real. If I'm not in a good mood, I'm not going to act like I'm in a good mood. And this is why I'd rather just be by myself most of the time, so I don't have to put on an act for anybody. Truth be told, I'm not joyful most of the time, and I wish I was. I'm just not. I wish I was, man. I really wish I was more joyful in life, but a lot of joy doesn't come my way. A lot of good fortune. Yeah, I have good fortune for sure. I live in a decent country, I guess. Better than a lot of other countries. I'm not going to say it's like the greatest ideal. It's not the illusion of what these people say it is, but it is better than a lot of other countries out there. I don't have sewer water coming through my pipes. I have heat. I have a roof over my head. It's not a leaky roof. I don't have the threat of people coming in when I'm trying to sleep, robbing me, killing me. At this point, I feel pretty generally safe. Yeah. What do I know? What do you know? What does any of us know? We don't know. What's wrong with being average? What's really wrong with being just a regular person and just trying to enjoy your life? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with having an average body? What's wrong with having an average bank account? What's wrong with having average status? What's wrong with having an average job? What's wrong with having average kids? What's wrong with it? Why do we always have to try to be successful and try to get to the top of the mountain and try to be first, the best? What's wrong with just being average? Because most of us are anyway. Only a couple people can be rich. If everyone was rich, nobody would be rich. If all of us were the best, nobody would be the best. What's wrong with looking up? What's wrong with looking down? My opinions might change tomorrow. This is just how I feel today. Maybe I feel different tomorrow. Maybe I feel more strongly about things and I need to grind more. Maybe I feel worse tomorrow and I feel like I should grind less. What's wrong with sitting back and just maybe I'm not maybe my name isn't in the lights. Maybe my books aren't on the bestseller list, or my music isn't being heard around the world, but or my videos aren't being shared and viewed by everybody like a Mr. Beast or whatever. And that should be okay. Should be okay. We all have demons that we're facing. We all have skeletons in the closet. Nobody is perfect. Look at these celebrities. Look at these celebrities. Look at Kelly Osbourne, who's blowing up right now. Her face looks like crap. The Ozempic, I think that Demi Moore, they're all taking Ozempic, becoming very skinny. They look like they just came from a concentration camp. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't be healthy people, but why do we have to always look our best and flawless to make other people happy? If that makes you happy, that's fine. But if it doesn't, and you feel like you're being fake, then why do you have to push it? For who? For what? Who really cares at the end of the day? Especially nowadays, man. You know how hard it is to keep moving forward, being constantly demoralized, feeling like I'm not doing anything. And so, and maybe you are working hard like I have been. It's just not. You look at it, it's just like, I'm not gonna, when you're younger, when I was young, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a professional athlete, but it's like, for who? For what? So I can, be like one of these college athletes that, you make the team. Maybe you're a starter, but nobody knows who you are. The people from your community, but unless you've done something huge, look at all these quarterbacks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of these players up here, all of these, they were elite in their time. Elite quarterbacks in their time. Most of them are forgotten about. People don't even know who they are. Even a Dan Marino, people downplaying Michael Jordan, what he did. Like, look at LeBron. Somebody's going to come out in the future probably and be like the next Jordan LeBron, and people are going to look at LeBron how they look at Jordan. Oh, he's not that good. Wilt Chamberlain, because fame comes and goes. We're not, even if you become famous, you're not always going to be in the spotlight all the time for the rest of your life. Somebody who used to watch my videos said that she's want me to look at this one person who was wildly famous. She was a wildly famous actress, and she ended up dead in her house when she was an old lady. This happened a couple years ago. And she was basically dead in her house for like a year because nobody gave a shit about her. Nobody checked up on her. Basically forgotten about. Nobody, I don't even know who the hell she was, but she was a famous person from back in the day. You just get forgotten about. And we're all just going to be forgotten about anyway. Unless you've done something like, are you really going to do something like a Socrates or a Nietzsche or George Washington? Are you really going to do something? If you grind, are you really going to accomplish something like that where you're remembered for centuries and someday you'll just be forgotten about anyway? King Tut, you know what I mean? Like, those people are like remembered and popular. Christopher Columbus. But are you really going to be, you grind and don't enjoy your life and think of, and have a little nostalgia is fine, and and sitting back and being like, dang, I accomplished all of this stuff that I really, even though like the world doesn't really care, like I really accomplished a lot. Why do I have to keep put like, and maybe you still, it is fine to sit back and recollect on your life. Like, what's wrong with that? Think back at what you've done. And always, instead of always having to like, I need to push, it's like, it is okay to sit. One thing that's I've always done where if I'm pushing too hard on something, it could be something stupid like I'm trying to put the batteries in this, and that's really easy, whatever. But it's not working out. There's all this other stuff going on, and I'm just getting frustrated. Sometimes I have to walk away from something and come back to it. Sometimes I have to like blow off steam and relax instead of pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing all the time. And think to myself, okay, I come back, and instead of like getting frustrated, I took a break. Sometimes it's okay to take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. I do this all the time. Something's frustrating me. It's not working. I keep putting, just let it go. I'm like, I don't care. I'm leaving it alone because I'm just going to get more and more pissed off. And it's just going to make me mess things up even more. And then I leave it alone, and maybe I come back in a couple of minutes. And it works fine. And I get it to work fine. And I get, you know what I mean? I know how to figure, I'm getting it. I know what to do. And it's just like, I need to drop it right now. I need to just go, just relax. There's nothing wrong with that. And in this society, we're just like, we always have to be striving to do, like, to be the excellent all the time, on top, and not rest. Muscles don't get bigger by always working them. You have to let them rest. Sometimes you have to be gentle on yourself. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video.